Southeast Asian economies this year are broadly aiming to regain the growth momentum they had before the COVID-19 pandemic triggered, after the historic declines in 2020. A look at early forecasts around the region, however, it shows a wide range of scenarios, as risks continue to lurk. But still, a solid rebound in growth this year is expected across the region, though Vietnam and the Philippines are set to outpace the rest. Here's a look at how ASEAN economy will grow this year. The forecasts are based on the projection reported by each country as comparison to the global economist. Singapore on Monday maintained its forecast of gross domestic product growth of 4% to 6% for 2021, unchanged from its estimate in November. Oxford Economics' 2021 outlook expects Singapore to expand by 5% this year, while Focus Economics' consensus forecast panelists sees Singapore economy expanding 5.6% in 2021. The city-state is coming off a record 5.4% annual contraction last year. Singapore has the coronavirus largely under control and aims to vaccinate all adults by September. A recent uptick in electronics exports is another positive sign, though prolonged travel restrictions are weighing on the hub economy. Indonesia expects gross domestic product to grow between 4.5% and 5.5% this year. While Oxford Economics expect Indonesia's economy will rebound to 4.7%, after a 2.1% contraction in 2020. In January, the country began a massive vaccination campaign that aims to inoculate 181 million people, 70% of its total population, by March 2022. This promises to help boost domestic demand in a country that has logged about 1.2 million COVID-19 cases, the most in the region. Singapore's United Overseas Bank noted that Indonesia's 2021 GDP growth could be limited to 2% in a pessimistic scenario, where vaccine efficacy is 50% and it only covers 35% of the population. Similarly, the Philippines projects a growth range of 6.5% to 7.5% for this year. While Oxford Economics expects the Philippines economy to rebound by 7.7%, versus a 9.5% drop in 2020, as the economy reopens further and vaccinations begin. Oxford Economics also attributed its rosy outlook for the Philippines to the boost coming from the quantitative easing-like support being extended by the Central Bank of the Philippines (BSP), as well as the projected 10% increase in government spending on public goods and services this year to make up for last year's delays, especially on infrastructure disbursements, while restriction will be softened this quarter, which expect more economic activities these coming months. Thailand lowered its economic growth sights, revising its 2021 forecast down to 2.5% to 3.5% growth, versus a 3.5% to 4.5% projection in November, lower than the Oxford Economics projection of 4.3%, and by the World Bank of 4%. The global tourism drought is especially painful for the normally popular resort destination. Thailand's tourism sector is expected to recover in the fourth quarter of 2021, according to Secretary-General of the Office of the National Economic and Social Development Council. The kingdom's growth depends on the efficacy of coronavirus vaccines, adding that political stability is vital for attracting foreign investment. Several protests were held against the Thai monarch king last year, though the movement quieted in late December before New Year, which also coincided with a COVID-19 outbreak in the country. Protest leaders said they were taking a break. The unrest could lead to a political stability which could affect foreign investors' outlook of the country. In Malaysia, which remains under a state of emergency, the central bank did not reveal a 2021 growth projection, when it announced last week that GDP shrank 5.6% in 2020. That was the worst performance since the Asian financial crisis days in 1998. Malaysia 2021 GDP projection last year was 6.5 to 7.5%. However, some economists projection lower growth rate for Malaysia, as the nation imposed a second lockdown to deal with a surge in coronavirus infections in recent weeks. Oxford Economics 2021 Outlook expects Malaysia to expand by 5% this year. Southeast Asia's growth leader in 2020 may still continue its growth momentum as Vietnam targeting a 6.5% growth rate this year. Leading the region's recovery, Oxford Economics projected Vietnam's economy to grow 7.7% this year, after it posted an estimated 2.9% gain in 2020. While economists from the Bank of America forecast the Vietnamese economy growing 9.3% in 2021, a much higher growth rate than the 6.7% expansion projected by the World Bank. The country managed 2.9% economic expansion last year, thanks to its success in containing the virus. It has reported only about 2,200 cases, along with robust exports of electronics and other consumer products. International Monetary Fund (IMF) was lowered its ASEAN economic growth to 5.2% in 2021 from the previous projection of growth of 6.2%, while Oxford Economics projects a 5.3% growth for ASEAN-6. Economic growth in Southeast Asia remains under pressure as COVID-19 outbreaks and containment measures continue, particularly in Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. An upside scenario based on faster vaccine rollout could see ASEAN-6 average GDP increase by nearly 10% in 2021. But in a scenario with slower vaccine rollout and a surge of infections, the regional recovery will be delayed to 2022.